Welcome to the Money Mindful podcast, where money mindset and life coach Meaghan Jean Smith, hey, that's me, teaches you how to transform your relationship to money and achieve your life goals so you can live a glorious, magnificent, delicious, awesome life and love being you. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Money Mindful podcast. You're here with your host, Meaghan. How are you doing today? So I had a bit of a situation happen recently where a colleague of mine asked me to do some work for her in her program, and I was a bit awkward. Like, I emailed back and just said, I'm totally happy to do this work for you, but this is the same kind of work that I do and get paid for. And so if that's what you had in mind, then I'm more than happy to, otherwise, no, and it's perfectly fine either way. But there was a period of time that if this colleague of mine had asked me to do this work for her, that I would have said yes, I would have done it for free. And so I want to talk to you today about when to stop working for free. Like, when to stop doing that? When is the right time? Now, first of all, I think I want to start by saying there is a time and a place to do some work for free. And I don't think that that's such a bad thing to do work for free, but I do think that a lot of women in particular do work for free for the wrong reasons when they shouldn't be doing work for free. They should actually be charging. And so I wanted to have a discussion with you about it today to get you thinking about, are you offering your services for free when you shouldn't be? And is it time to stop doing that? So I'll just start by saying that I really don't think there's a hard and fast reasons why you should and shouldn't work for free. It is very subjective, and it is to do with your personal circumstances as well. But I'm going to talk about some general areas today where I think that it's common where people are working for free when they shouldn't be. So the very first reason would be is that you are qualified and experienced at what you do, and somebody is asking you to do work for them, but for whatever reason, they don't have a budget, they don't value what you're doing. You shouldn't be working for them for free just because they don't have the budget for that. Like, that's not your problem, right? If you're qualified to do the work and you're experienced at doing work, then it's perfectly fine to say, look, this is my fee for doing this. And then the other party, they have total choice to either come up with the money or not, right? But you're not a charity, and you don't have to do work for free when you are a qualified and experienced person. And even if you don't have a lot of qualifications, you still don't have to work for free, right? There's plenty of jobs that you start and you get paid on the job while you're learning. Like, yes, you might get paid a lower wage. But the reason why I brought that up is because I think in some circumstances, it is appropriate to work for free, right? I mean, I have done plenty of work for free when I've been starting in a new career. For instance, when I first learned how to become a primary school teacher and I was doing my postgraduate studies, I can't remember exactly how many weeks I worked for, but I did a lot of weeks full-time in schools for free, getting work experience as a school teacher, right? I think that's understandable. There is a time and a place to do some work for free. When I first started this coaching business, I also did heaps of coaching for free when I first started out because I wanted to get as much experience as possible. And I was totally happy to work for free to build that experience, right? So definitely a time and a place for working for free when you're trying to build experience. Totally appropriate. Okay, the next reason why the next point where I think it's time to stop working for free is when you don't have the time, bandwidth, or resources to do the work without impeding on your income producing work. And really, this is actually what came up for me when I said no to a colleague when they asked me to do some work for them. It's because I am pretty much fully booked. I'm working on projects, external projects in my business outside of my one-to-one because I'm building new areas of my business. And I'm already, time is precious, right? Like I'm moving time around to fit things in just in my own paid work for my income producing things in my business, right? So to do work for somebody else for free that takes away from that is a no-no. And I see this come up with women in business a lot at lots of different levels where they have a problem saying no, right? Somebody asks you to do something and you do it because maybe you feel passionate about it or you feel like you should do it, but actually by you saying yes to doing that work, you're saying no to your own income producing work. And that is even more important when you're not making the income that you want to make, right? Maybe if you're making an abundance of income and above and beyond the revenue that is your goal, and you do have the bandwidth and resources to do work for someone else for free, then yeah, by all means, knock yourself out. But I often see that people agree to do work for other people when they don't have the time and resources to even do the work for their own income producing activities. Right? So that's something to really keep in mind. You know, I did a consult with someone recently and they were talking about that they want to get their shit together when it comes to money and they want to make more money. And then they were sharing with me how they do some work for friends of theirs for free. Right? And they could be doing that same work and getting paid and be making more money, but they're not because they just haven't thought about it. Right, to do it in that way. And you do not want your default mode to be do work for free. Doing work for free should not be your default because you have to keep in mind that whenever you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So if you are saying yes to doing free work for someone else, you are saying no to potentially doing income producing work in your own business. Okay. So just really keep that in mind. And this shows up particularly when it's something where, you know, it's something that you would do for free in the sense that you love it. You love doing it. It's something that you enjoy, but you can trip yourself up by spending a lot of time doing non-income producing work and then not actually making the money that you want to make in your own business. So it's really important to be aware of. And the two more reasons that I would say, one is you're starting to feel resentful. Right? And this kind of links into when you're doing work for other people and you're doing it for free and you're not actually creating the time for yourself to work on the things that you want to do in your life, then you can start to feel resentful. And that is definitely a big sign to stop working for free, right? Because you want to be getting paid for that work and you're feeling resentful because you're not getting paid, right? There's not an equal exchange of value. And so that makes total sense because what worked at one stage in your life, maybe you were totally happy to work for free at one stage in your life, but now you're not. And that's okay, right? Which leads on to my final reason. And that is that you just don't want to. Right? It's perfectly acceptable not to work for free because you simply don't want to. You want to be paid for the work that you're doing. Right? And that can be triggering and that can be a bit of a rites of passage, right? To go through that in your business where you feel like it's time to start saying, you know, yeah, I'd love to do this work for you and this is my fee, right? And if you feel uncomfortable saying no to somebody who's asking you to do work, one thing that you could say is, look, I only do a certain amount of free work per year or per quarter and, you know, I've already used up that quota, right? I mean, it's perfectly acceptable to do that, right? And it's also perfectly acceptable just to straight out say, no, thank you. Right? It's okay. You want to be valuing the work that you do, and what you do is important. And that's a whole nother kettle of fish if you're doing work for free because you are not actually valuing what you do. And so I want to move into, these are not reasons to work for free, because these are reasons sometimes people work for free and these are not why you would work for free. One is because that reason I just said then, you're not valuing your own worth, right? Imposter syndrome, like you're scared to charge money, even though you're qualified in what you do. A lot of women in business do this, right? You're perfectly qualified. You're probably overqualified, and yet you're scared to charge for what you're worth, right? That is not a reason to be doing work for free. Another reason would be you're just uncomfortable asking for money, right? Like somebody's asked you to do something and the conversation around money has just never arisen. And, I was talking about this with a client just recently, and she's in a professional field. It would be totally normal to expect for her to get paid. But even she was saying, it just didn't come up in conversation, And so then she had to have that awkward, in quotation marks, conversation or email when she had to put forward, well, and this is my fee. Or, you ask the question, what's the budget for this, right? Perfectly acceptable to do that. Now, just because you can do the work doesn't mean you should. Now, this is that category when it's something that's simple and easy for you, you enjoy doing it, and so then you say yes to doing the work for free. But what you've got to look out for, why this is not a reason for doing the work for free, is if we go back to the reasons, what I said before, when to stop working for free, when it impedes on your own income producing time. Right? Like it's all very well to be something that you feel that it's easy for you to do, you feel passionate about it. If it's impeding on your own revenue producing activities and you're not making the money that you want to be making, then that is not a reason to be doing something for free. Right? It's like that classic example of putting your own oxygen mask on first on the plane. It doesn't matter how poorly the elderly person is or the child. If you don't put your oxygen mask on first, that is, if you don't earn the money that you need first in your business to actually survive, and not even survive, beyond that, thrive, then you're not in a position to help others. You must help yourself first, all right? And then you will have the resources to be able to help people if you so choose to, right? Okay, there's a couple more points that I want to cover just separately. Is that one of the reasons why you might not be making the money that you want to be making is because you're not actually valuing what you do and valuing yourself. And I'm not suggesting that you equal, you're 100% valuable no matter what, right? You're 100% worthy, but we link our own personal value often to what we sell or what we do. If you're lacking in confidence or, there's some self-worth issues going on there, often that shows up in how much you're willing to price your offer for or your service for, or you'll do things for free because you're not standing in your own value, right? And I want to add to that is that people value what they pay for. People don't value free. They just don't. I mean, think of how many times you've signed up for something that was free, or you got a free sample even at the supermarket, and then you just never ended up eating it, or, you never ended up doing that free course that you downloaded because it was free, right? And you didn't actually value it. But I bet you bottom dollar, if you paid $1,000 for that course, that same course, you would be opening it and doing it. Or if you paid money for that food sample that you got, how many times have you pulled stuff out of your fridge and cooked it up that night because you don't want it to go to waste because you've paid money for it, right? People value what they pay for. Like they pay attention to what they pay for, right? And so especially if you're running a business, be very careful about doing things for free. Okay, just don't. I mean, I had a chat with a girlfriend recently and, we're talking about doing some collaboration work. She's wanting to get me in to do some work in her membership and we are very good friends. And I'll tell you right now, I would happily do the work for her for free. I love her. I care about her so much, but I won't. I'm not going to do it for free. And here's why. Energetically, it makes a massive difference for the very reasons I just told you, is that people value what they pay for and it matters energetically too. There's something about being paid as well. Like, I'm not saying that if this friend of mine didn't pay me that I'd do a half-assed job. Of course not. I would show up and do my best. But there's something there when there's an exchange in value that just changes things energetically. It really does make a difference, right? And when you're in business as well, when you don't get paid for what you're doing, you're devaluing yourself. And then also when you don't pay for things, there's a devaluation that goes on as well. And I'll give you an example of this. So I had someone that I worked with that I really respected what they did. I think what they had to offer was really fantastic. So much so, I wanted to bring them in to my coaching work and do a workshop for me. And because they hadn't done this workshop in this format before, like they hadn't done it in this style, and they were a very close colleague of mine, and there was a moment there where there was a suggestion, like she sort of hinted at, maybe I won't charge you for this. And I was just flat out, no, I'm paying you to do this work. And I'll tell you why. It's because one is, when you're paid for something, you bring the goods to the table, right? That's one thing. But two, I was paying for something. Like, I took pride in that. Like, there's no way I want someone coming into my business doing something with my clients and me not paying them. Hell no. That's just because, I stand behind what I'm doing and the service that I provide. And so I was like, no way, like I'm paying for this person to be here, right? And deliver an amazing workshop. And it was an amazing workshop, right? And so it's so easy to just think, again, like I just had someone else do a workshop in my group and I did a workshop for theirs. We did it as an exchange. And again, it could have been so easy to just be like, oh, well, I'm working for you. You're working for me. We don't have to worry about it. No, we definitely worried about it. You can bet your bottom dollar we invoiced each other, right? Even though we were both doing work in each other's businesses, we both basically charge about the same. And this is what a lot of people do. It's easy just to do an exchange, right? But Don't be tempted to do that. Invoice, charge your worth. Because believe me, you're going to have plenty of times to do work for free that is not for other people, in the sense that, like, right now I'm working for free. I'm recording this podcast for you. It comes out every week. It's free work. I'm not getting paid to do this work, right? There's lots of things you're going to do in your business for, quote, free, like in quotation marks, for free, right? There's plenty of things that you can offer and do for free. Believe me, you are doing enough. Okay. And when other people ask you to do work for them, you are not required to do it for free. Now, there have been times where I have done work for free, and there have been collaborations that I've done, and I'm so glad I did it and it was worth it. But I think there comes a time when, like, once you've been in business for a while, that you start to get that nod, that it's time to stop doing that. And, that time for me has definitely come to a close, but I've been at a bit of a crossroads probably in the last 12 months where it's been, still doing the odd thing for free and then not doing things for free. And I think you get to a stage where you just realize, no, it's time. Like, I can't do this anymore because I don't have the time. And two, it feels off. You'll know it starts to feel off, right? Like just doing things for free. I've said yes to a few things where really I should have said no, but you learn from that. And those experiences are actually really great to have because they're the nod from the universe, they're the signs for you, the indicators that, I'm experienced enough. It's time to stop doing this. And you get that icky feeling, when you do the work and then you realize, that wasn't right. I shouldn't have done that, right? You'll know. And then, there's times when I do stuff for free where it's absolutely right. Okay. Like it feels right on every level, on every cell in my body. And it's not something that is impeding on my income producing abilities. And so I do say yes. And that's within my rights, I suppose, to do that. But I just want to make that distinction for you that don't make doing things for free your default. Because at the end of the day, you're not only telling the universe, but you're telling yourself, like, I'm not worth it. It's funny. I did some work with someone who, they're not doing very well in their business. They hadn't turned a profit. Well, they turned a profit for the first time in, the whole time that they've been running their business. But again, she's doing stuff for free and she's expecting other people to do stuff for free. And it just shows, like, energetically, it comes across like the lack of value that she has in her business. And I'm not suggesting that this person doesn't work really hard and care about what she does, but energetically, asking for money and also paying people to do things in your business makes a huge difference energetically. And I really encourage you to do it and consider for yourself, is it time to stop working for free? And one final point I will just make is that, because an argument that some people give me is, well, they can't afford to pay that, or, they wouldn't have access to this if I didn't do it for free. And I want to say, charge appropriately for what you do. And then if you feel really compelled to help someone who can't afford your services, offer a scholarship or do something where you can help those people because you've got the money. But don't help those people before you've helped yourself, because you're helping somebody at your own expense and you're not actually building a solid business where you're in a position to help more people. Unless you're a registered charity, you need to be making money in business. Otherwise, you will go under. All right. I think you got the message loud and clear. Is it time to stop charging for free? I think so. It might be. I've given you lots of information in this episode to help you come to a decision that is an alignment with you, because let's face it, sometimes it is okay to do work for free and there is a time and a place for it, but just be onto yourself and know that you are doing it for the right reasons and not at your own expense. Okay, my dear, until I'm in your ears again next week, have an incredible week. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the Money Mindful podcast. For future episodes, be sure to subscribe. Ready to take the next steps? Creating your money and life goals can be super challenging if you don't have a process to follow. Get my free course that will help you get unstuck, clarify your goals, and get you going. For more info, go to meaghanjsmith.au.